Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Molly, and in today's video, I'm going to do a teaching video to show you how to find a degree point in your natal astrology chart. And this is a point that you would want to reference when you're looking to find a new moon degree point or a full moon, or perhaps you want to see where Mercury retrograde is happening for you, or you're looking at what is happening with the transiting planets. We use these degree points all the time in astrology, and I want to do this video for you so that you can find what we're talking about and follow along. Now, it's important to know that there are many different types of astrological natal charts, and I want to draw your attention to this outer wheel here. This is where we're going to be focusing our attention, and to help you with that, I'm going to introduce some amazing technology. That's right. This is a green circle. And this is the best of analog technology. And it's going to help you focus on the outer ring here, because this is where all of the astrological signs are located in a natal chart. Now, there's different styles, right? So this chart looks this way. Now let's compare it to this astrology chart. You'll notice that there's no degrees out here. It just shows you the astrological signs, and then it shows you these little markers, right? Can you see those? Well, every astrological sign begins at 0 and ends at 29, so 30 degrees. And these markers show you where 10 degrees are and 20 degrees are. So you can see that these markers are a little longer. And then within here, obviously you have the first 10 degrees of Taurus, 10 through 19, and then 20 through 29. So you might have an astrological chart with these markers on it. Now you might also have a chart that just shows you the ring like this, and then out here there are degree points. And these are the degree points for the houses. So I'm going to work through 3 different charts here, and we're going to do some examples together. So I'm going to start by helping you find the degree point for this. It's actually the December 25th, 26th eclipse point, right, at 4 degrees of Capricorn. So what you're going to do, here's the amazing technology, is you're going to look on the outer ring of your natal chart and locate Capricorn. And you're going to find Capricorn, and you're looking for 4 degrees of Capricorn. Now, in this chart style, the 3rd house begins at 3 degrees of Sagittarius, 20 minutes. The 4th house begins at 6 degrees of Capricorn, 53 minutes. The 5th house begins at 10 degrees of Aquarius, 13 minutes, and so on. So in this example, because we're looking for 4 degrees of Capricorn, 4 comes before 6, so you know that it's in this point in the chart, since 6 degrees of Capricorn begins the 4th house. All right, and then you can see how that lines up, because these lines right here indicate where the house begins. The 3rd house begins at this line and ends at this line. All right, so that's how you would find it in this chart style. Now let's look at this chart. Where would you find 4 degrees of Capricorn? Okay, sorry, it wasn't even on the camera. Here. Now we found Capricorn here in this section of the natal chart, and it's 4 degrees, and you can tell that, okay, Capricorn begins here, so I'm going to count in 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be about here. And this is the type of house that has these markers, right? So you can see, okay, if 10 degrees is here and 20 degrees is there, then that is where 4 degrees is. So then you say, all right, 4 degrees of Capricorn is right here. And that is the 11th house. So right here is where it says the house. Now there's, as I said, there's many different types of wheel styles. So you're going to have to kind of look at understand what you're looking at, is that these numbers are the house numbers, but out here are the astrological signs that will determine where 4 degrees of Capricorn shows up in your chart. Okay, let's do another one. And this one, again, it's a little different because of how it has the astrological sign and the degree point. So in this chart, you can see that it has this line here that tells you Capricorn starts here. And then we're going to 4 degrees of Capricorn, so it's probably about here, right? And in this chart, these lines out here are actually referencing the 11th house and where the 11th house begins and ends. So this 11th house begins at 22 degrees of Sag and ends at 16 degrees of Capricorn. Make sure you're always looking for this degree point and that you don't confuse degree with minutes. See that? See, it's 22 degrees, 14 minutes. It's not 14 degrees, 22 minutes, okay? So that's how you would be looking for certain degree points in your natal chart. Now let's do a few more exercises just to help you get really familiar with this, because it's really simple once you get the hang of it and when you start to focus on the right part of your chart. So let's look for 20 degrees of Capricorn. 20 degrees. And obviously you already know now where Capricorn is in your chart. And again, in this chart, the 4th house begins here at 6 degrees of Capricorn and goes until 10 degrees of Aquarius, 13 minutes. So 20 degrees of Capricorn is in here because 20 comes after 6. So it would be right in here. And obviously, as I do this live, that's currently where Saturn is at 20 degrees of Capricorn. And 20 degrees of Capricorn is lunar, is part of an eclipse point in January 2020, where the sun is here at 20 degrees of Capricorn, but the moon is at 20 degrees of Cancer. So where's 20 degrees of Cancer in your chart? 20 degrees of Cancer. Obviously, it's going to be opposite of 20 degrees of Capricorn, right? So then you would go up here to this house, say, all right, it's about there, which is the 10th house. So the January 10th Cancer lunar eclipse at 20 degrees of Cancer is up here in the 10th house, but all of the other planets in Capricorn, Sun, Mercury, will be at 20 degrees of Capricorn. All right, so you're getting the hang of how to just read this information. Let's do another example with this other chart. So now I'd like you to find where 0 degrees of Cancer is. Sorry, I'm not trying to move this around too much, but it's kind of part of how this is set up right now. 0 degrees of Cancer. Okay, you're looking around, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, right? 0 degrees would be the very beginning. That is 0 degrees of Cancer. And this is where the June 20th, 2020 eclipse point is. Very big, powerful, emotional eclipse in June 2020. And that's where 0 degrees of Cancer is. So you would say, okay, 0 degrees of Cancer is in my 5th house. So this is helping you identify where to look, right? Now in this chart, I want you to find, wait, we need the magic technology here. We need to find 16 degrees of Sagittarius. Okay, so you're looking on the perimeter of your chart and you're like, look, I know that one. There's Sagittarius. 16 degrees, so we know it's about the middle of Sag, right? This one happens to be conjunct that Mercury at 15 degrees of Sag, and it's in the 10th house. And at 16 degrees of Sagittarius, June 5th, 2020 eclipse. 16 degrees of Sag. You can do this with me. You can pause and come back and review as needed. But I'm helping you with putting these pieces together, right? Okay, let's change chart styles, and now we're going to identify 9 degrees of Gemini. Aries, Taurus, Gemini. 9 degrees, right? So Gemini starts here, it's this line, and it goes in to 9 degrees-ish. So then you say, okay, that one is 9 degrees of Gemini in my 4th house. That's what this number is. 4th house. And that's where the November 30th, 2020 eclipse is at 9 degrees of Gemini. Gemini is also where Venus is going to go retrograde in 2020. All right, so the focal point is on this outer ring of your chart, and it can show up differently depending on the chart that you're looking at, the wheel style that's in front of you. But you're looking to then count the degrees to identify where the energy is showing up. So for every new moon and full moon, you would say, oh, okay, the new moon is at 4 degrees of Aquarius. Well, if the 5th house starts at 10 degrees of Aquarius, 4 comes before 10, so that means 4 degrees of Aquarius is in here, in the 4th house. Okay? So it's easy once you pick it up, and hopefully now it makes sense. And every time I do one of the new moon or full moon videos, I hope this helps you identify where the energy is showing up for you. I do teach classes on this kind of thing. I teach monthly astrology webinars that show you how to track the energies through your chart every month. And I also teach how to learn astrology transits in your chart. Again, you can see where the current energies are right now. The current energies are what I always talk about on my podcasts and are probably what you're looking for when you're understanding your astrology chart. You're looking to not only understand yourself, but also what's happening in your life right now. So I teach with a very visual manner like this. Like a lot of my classes, I show you this chart and we go through these kinds of exercises because I think it's important to learn astrology visually. I don't just want to be a talking head. You know, I want you to see the energies, see the information, but also practice understanding the planets and the astrological signs. The more that you see them, you learn them more quickly. It goes into your brain, right? And you just have that shorthand for reading it and understanding what's going on. So I would love to support you with more astrology. If any of what I share resonates, you can find more information below this video. And I'll be back soon with another teaching video for you. Be sure to check out my YouTube playlists where I cover a lot of different astrological topics so that you can understand your astrology chart even better. Thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments, and I'll be back here soon.